We're going to talk about our bank accounts. Yes, our bank accounts. I saw a post somebody made, and the poster was saying, I've been trying to bring more money into my account. The money comes in. I saw one person said the money comes in, but it goes right back out again. And these are people making like $100,000 a month. And the person that said they're looking for money, they've tried. Another person commented and said, I go and play the scratch and save or whatever it is, like the lottery, and I get into the, positive feeling and I go play it and I still don't win. And it was just really interesting, the comments that were on this post. And what was interesting is that people thought that it was just like, I had to believe it, like, oh, I just believe the money's there. I'm just going to believe it, even when I know deep down it's not. Or they just thought that they had to stay positive. Like if you stayed positive, you had a positive attitude, you just had positive thinking, the cash was going to roll in. I mean, it just really doesn't work that way, right? And many people have said that. So this is not to say that doesn't help somewhat with your frequency of being excited about how you make money. I'll go into that a little bit later. But you see some people who are wealthy and they're not necessarily the most quote unquote positive people. So positivity has nothing to do with how wealth is created, kept, spent, how it grows. There's a whole different array of things that go into that. Now, being positive, what does that mean? Thinking that more is coming. Okay, that's one of them. But what I had to do when I was starting all over again, and maybe this will help you, is that I didn't have the evidence of the money to tell me like, hey, this is working, or here's the money. You can now feel wealthy. Like I've said before in many podcast episodes, money does not change the way you feel. It can make you feel a little safer. It can make some of the fear go away. It could just kind of satiate you like a pacifier for children, right? For babies, but it's not really going to get to the root or the issue. And like I said in the last episode, one of the things that I've really have been able to master and feel like I have succeeded in this lifetime is that I feel very safe and very neutral, and I always know money is there for me. Now, for people who keep looking in their bank account and saying, hey, where's the money? I don't know where it is. I want to talk to you guys. Or the people that have inconsistent cash months, I want to talk to you guys. And the people who are afraid to spend their money, or they fear it's out of need, or they don't know how to stop working so much because they're afraid if they do, they're not going to make enough, right? It all goes together. What you have to start doing, and this is such a simple thing to start practicing, is gratitude. I know I'm going to teach you, though, a special way of doing it, not the way people tell you how to do it. Here's how I did it. And this is a how-to podcast, I guess, right now. When I didn't have anything and I was divorced and I was starting all over again, and one of the reasons why my income and my savings were going down is because I wanted to keep the house. I wanted to keep my house for my children because I wanted them to have roots. I wanted them to have safety. I wanted them to feel some normalcy since we didn't have any family here. I knew that the house that we lived in was the only house that they knew. And since their family was changing, that was one thing that I really wanted to work on. So I had no extra money. In fact, many times I had less than. And my bank account, like I would say all the time, was on life support. I mean, I'll never forget the feeling of this cannot be my final destination looking at it. Like, oh my gosh, my account is overdrawn again. I paid another $34 in penalties. And it was so hard because I had money, and then starting all over again, it was like there was no two incomes anymore. It was like me and, my kids, and that was pretty much it. And I had to change my lifestyle. A lot of things changed, but I was still trying to maintain something like the house. It was a lot of money to keep the kids here, and I didn't have extra. And I don't know if any of you can, relate to this. It was a really tough time in my life, but I knew that there was another way out. I just knew. I saw other women that were successful. I knew that I came here to do something different. So what I started to do was I started to see what was present and available to me, for me to see that there is wealth. And if you guys have listened to me before, I've told you that the universe doesn't know the difference between a penny or $1,000,000. Why? I pick up money because I believe all money's money, right? The way I look and think about money cannot change by the denomination, because money is money. So this is why picking up a penny makes me feel so excited. It's like as if I saw $1,000 on the ground, because it's the same feeling I get inherently inside of myself that makes me feel like, wow, look how lucky I am. Look how grateful I am that I just found free money on the ground. That's how I look at it. And you know when people walk by pennies, or they walk by nickels, or they walk by things and they never stop to pick it up because in their mind, they're like, it's just a penny. It's nothing. But the respect I have for money goes all around, because I had a new relationship with it. I started seeing money as something different. I started seeing my wealth in a different way. I had to become a woman who respected money, but a woman who also expected money. And so when you think about how people are wired when it comes to wealth and money in general, they look for the evidence of the money, their bank accounts, to tell them that they're wealthy, where I didn't have that. I had credit cards that were maxed out. I had more days left in the month than I did money. You know how that is? I don't know if maybe any of you guys have ever been there before, but you're like, oh shoot, it's the 14th of the month and I've got 14 more days. How am I going to do it when I don't have any money? I remember the overdraft, being in the red and not knowing how I was going to do things. And it was my way of life for a little bit of time. And the thing that shifted for me is that I started finding things in my life that I could find that would bring me the feeling of wealth, like the gratitude of wealth. Like, where could I start feeling grateful? Where can I start taking myself out of the lack and the scarcity and the poor me, or the it's not here, where is it? And put myself into like, what is here? What could I take that I would look at and say, okay, but well, look how lucky I am for this. Look how grateful the universe has showed up here. Look at all the cool things that are happening in my life. And starting that mindset, not only did it change how much money came into my life and my bank account and my world and my clients and all the things, but it changed the way I looked at the world. Because instead of sitting with all the things that were missing, and I could sit there and I could count them up, instead of looking at what was missing, I started looking at what actually was there. This is something that, unless you practice it on a daily, hourly basis, it will not shift and change you, because we are conditioned to look at what to fix. We are conditioned of what goes wrong. We are conditioned to protect ourselves from pain. We're conditioned to stop ourselves from feeling any hurt, disappointment, or whatever else, because that's the way our nervous system's wired, right? But what if you started looking at things in the most grateful manner? Like, I'm grateful for so many things. I write gratitude out every single morning. And it's just, and if I don't get a chance to write it out, I sit there and I'm like, gosh, I'm so grateful for waking up in this bed. I'm grateful for these pillows. I'm grateful for, it's everything. You have to be grateful for everything. I've seen people who have had massive changes in my world. And I've said this over and over again. So I had a woman who was in one of my programs, and at some point in the program, it's a lower ticket program. She ended up having her highest cash month at $10,000. Now, amazing things were happening. Things were, clicking into place. She had a lot of shifts and changes, but at the same time, she couldn't celebrate and be in that 10K, month that she'd never experienced before. Her programming and her patterning, which still needs a lot of work, drew her to look at, okay, what's missing? Like, I got to find the negatives. And I think I talked about in another episode, because people can still be like this because they go back to their own patterns. Unless you break the pattern, no matter how much great stuff that comes into your life, you're still going to go back to what you know. When you go back to what you know, you're looking for what's missing, what's not there. You're going back to the scarcity and lack. You're going back to a place of, this is not enough. Like, there's got to be more. And when you can find the enoughness in your life where you're grateful for it, and you're not looking for the negative things, and you're not looking to say the negative things, what you're actually doing is amplifying, and you're multiplying what you have right now exponentially than you've ever thought before. So why, when you find a penny, you treat it like, I freaking found gold. I found some money. I found money. Money's right here. Imagine that feeling. So it's the state that you're in, and being able to be grateful for all the things, even when things go sideways, even when things don't seem like, you can't see the lesson in the end, being able to find it later on and find the gratitude for these places. That has been a game changer for me. This is one of probably my top 10 things or 5 things I can tell you that's shifted me into a different perspective about everything, is finding the thing that makes me feel like, wow, I'm grateful that happened, because I would not be here. I'm grateful for that happened. I'm able to look at the things that have happened to me in my past and say, like, I'm so grateful because had I not had those things, I would have never gone and done the deep healing work. I would have never figured out money. I've never been able to show up and help my children, but also help thousands of women, hopefully millions of women soon, and men shift into a new belief system around money. Like I am at a place now where everything that comes in my world is showing me something I need to see. And this is like finding the gift in it all. So number one thing to becoming your most wealthiest version of yourself is you've got to find the daily, hourly gratitude for things. If an appointment is missed or someone cancels, there's probably something great for you to find in there. If someone, stops at a stoplight and you're in a rush and, you got to hit your brakes and you're behind them and they're slowing you down, maybe they're saving you from something. If you've gotten something that you don't feel like is a positive thing, how can you turn it around into being something that you can look at and go, I'm actually really grateful this happened because here I am here right now in this experience. So this is going to be something that I feel like when you finally get this, and it's going to take some work. I'm just telling you right now, this is why I have all these programs here for people to come join my world. But when you finally can get into this state of being, not too much bothers you anymore to the point that it debilitates you. We're all human and we have emotions. So that's not to say you're not going to feel anymore. In fact, you'll start feeling more, but you'll start feeling more in a powerful way, in a way that your emotions are not going to have power over you. You're going to have power over your emotions, being able to feel them, process them, transmute them, and then be able to bring in new emotions. You're not going to stay with the anger or resentment or whatever happened and let it take disease in your body. Because once something has disease in your body, it becomes a disease in your body, rather. So take what I told you today, see what you can do to find the most positive things, and see if you're able to turn something around that you couldn't before. Because what it will do is also lower your stress. It'll also have you in a state of beingness. And this is not to say to bypass things. I don't believe in bypassing emotional work because when people try to do that, it always pops up and creeps up somewhere else because your subconscious is always running the show. And it runs from your emotional state. So until you can master your emotions, your subconscious is going to be programmed with whatever things that you're believing, thinking, feeling, consciously is going to be going into your subconscious because it's like a computer. So no matter what if you haven't resolved something, subconsciously it's going to start coming up. That's why people have, when they start listening to me, like, well, you know what? My dad left when I was 5. Oh, and I've money doesn't stay. Oh, maybe it's pretty obvious in textbook there, like Shamina textbook land, but let me show you why and how you can rewire that. Again, find the gratitude in all the places. It is the easiest way because you cannot be in abundance when you're in scarcity. And if you're in scarcity, you're looking for the lack and what's missing, the negative. So the more you can be in abundance and find the gratitude for everything, the more abundance you will have, because the energetic frequency of what you're being is what you will attract more of. So like I said earlier with the person's post that I saw, and they said, I'm looking for the money. I don't see the money. It's not coming in. I'm trying to be positive. They're bypassing the work that needs to be done because they themselves don't believe the money can come. They're looking for something that's not there because they have not become the thing yet first. You have to become the feeling of the wealthiness. You have to become the feeling of happiness and abundance in order to attract more of it. But if you are in a desperate state looking for money or looking to have an experience that is going to fill you up when you're already empty, that won't work because you're just going to attract more of that to keep you empty, to make you feel scarcity and not having you expand into this most amazing life that's there and available for all of us. I promise you it's there. So having this shift it's deeper than just being, because I've seen a woman write a gratitude book and she still lives in scarcity because her programming, the pattern is there. The pattern is supporting the subconscious all along. And until you break that pattern, until you break the programming, it doesn't matter how many times a day you say you're grateful for something. If you don't truly believe it or you don't have a feeling that backs that gratitude, it doesn't matter. It's like saying, you're going to click your heels and go off to Kansas. It just won't work. You have to believe it fully deep in your soul. It has to be an energetic connection to who you are. You have to become the beingness of this person in order for you to acquire and attract more, because your energy does not lie. Energy does not lie. All right. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review and don't forget to subscribe. You can leave me a review on Apple or on Spotify. And Don't forget to go join the Quantum Woman group. And here is my book, Unlocking the Quantum Woman. This book is amazing. It will help you shift into the practices. I go deeper into my practices into this book about what I do with my journaling for gratitude. It is a game changer. Go grab my book on Amazon. It has over 120 something 5-star reviews. It's a book that's changing the game out there, and as I hoped it would. And it's my 10 plus years of experience in this book that you're going to have as a little guidebook for yourself. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and come follow us on Instagram. Connect with us there. We have different content in all different areas. And did I say join the Quantum Woman group? If not, go join the Quantum Woman group. Download all our freebies below. They're there. And if you want more information on some of our programs, all you have to do is send an email to support@shaminataylor.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it on social media and tag me in it. Stay tuned for the next episode. Bye for now.